Hey, all my friends out there. I want to talk today about this concept, that people are noticing that their brain comes on board, they feel better, they emotionally they feel better, mentally they feel better, but we need to kind of curb the, I guess probably we need to curb the expectation that we're putting out there. Now, the reason for that is simple. Everybody's different. Everybody's life experience is different. Some people have, my hair is a mess right now, excuse me. Whoa. Some people have abused their bodies more so than others. Some people have been exposed to more than others. And with all that said, a lot of people do come alive by day 5, as we put it, but we're going to kind of suspend that expectation because not everybody will, and it might, for some people, you got to realize biochemistry is unique as a fingerprint. No two people are exactly alike, and so some people, we've been noticing it happens on day, 7. It could happen on day 8. It could happen on day 10 or 14. It's just one of those things where we have to curb the expectation because it's not fair to people if they do not feel that euphoria we're talking about, or that epiphany, that aha moment by day 5. We hate for them to feel disappointed and discouraged. So that's important. I want to talk about what is one of the most powerful parts of this, and that is your control over your eating habits. Your ability to literally look at all of the foods that used to haunt you and hold you captive and hostage, and you couldn't turn away from them. Let's go into my pantry. Let me show you a few things, okay? All right. Full transparency. Ready? First, before I show you this, I want you to consider the effect that foods have on you, okay? Consider that, you could actually, have you ever heard of dropping acid? Have you ever heard of that? I've never done that myself, but I do know people that have. And one time a guy tried, he was trying to tell me to try it. He gave me a little tiny piece of paper. It was about this big. I mean, it was no bigger than a BB. And I said, what in the heck is that? And he said, this is LSD or whatever it was. And I said, oh, dude, I'm not doing that. There's no way. And I gave it back and sent him on his way. But the bottom line was, he was telling me what it does to you. And the thought that just substance on just a tiniest little piece of paper could have such a dramatic effect on how you feel and what your brain does and how your body responds. I want you to think about the power of all these phytochemicals and nutritives and so forth in our foods. The tiniest little bit of certain foods, especially culprit foods, can wreak havoc. I even heard one doctor say that if you eat gluten, and most people say, well, do you have a gluten intolerance? And I personally think we're not supposed to be eating gluten because wheat is GMO and it's not the way it used to be. And you got to read books on it, guys, to understand all this stuff. But bottom line is, even a little bit of gluten, it'll take I think he said 3 to 4 days for your body to work that through and get that inflammatory response out. So they're going to pay a heavy price for even a little bit. So let's look here. Can Sean admit that he used to eat some of these gummy type things, like a gummy frog? Yeah, I did. I used to turn to these, probably have a couple of those in a day, maybe 1 or 2 of those in a day, something like that. Something like this. I wouldn't eat these M&M peanut butter things. I wouldn't eat those, no way. And don't get the wrong impression, we have that, but our kids don't eat much of that crap. It just sits there. But I would eat these chocolate peanut butter cups that were from Justin's. Justin's, it's supposed to be a health food product, but really come on. It's healthier ingredients, but is it a health product? No, it's just candy. It's just chocolate and sugar, and stuff like that. I haven't had any of these things in 3 months. I haven't had any gummies in 3 months. None. 0. I haven't had any of those peanut butter cups that I love so much in 3 months. I haven't had, these were always my kryptonite. I would eat small handful of macadamia nuts periodically. For some reason, I was just always craving crunch and salt. I have not had any of these in over 3 months. None. Okay. What else we got here? Culprit Foods from Sean's. These are almond flour crackers. I have not had any almond flour crackers. I have not had any in over 3 months, which some of you might say, well, that sounds healthy, but don't think it was serving me actually. A lot of the foods you think are health foods, like that's why I laugh when everybody talks about, oh, you know, do you shop at Whole Foods? Well, Whole Foods has a lot of stuff in there that is not healthy food. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. I mean, some of that is marketing. Some of that is, you know, oh, they make it look like it's good for you. But sugar is sugar to the body. Sugar is sugar to the body. It causes the same inflammatory response. Don't get confused. Like, all right, what else we got here? Sean. All right, full transparency. These I would not eat often at all, but every now and then, if I saw them, and I know some of you are like, oh my God, I can't believe they have that in their house. This has been in our house for another thing that's been here for a very long time. And it's usually the kids going shopping with us and they beg and beg and beg. And then it's like, oh, frick, fine. But then they don't hardly eat it. And we know it's not good for them. But this, I would eat these. And my favorite thing as like a once in a week type treat is I would eat these with salsa and organic salsa. Like that's going to make a difference. I haven't had any of these in over 3 months. Let's see. No, those are not the ones that I would eat. Let's see. Tortilla chips. These are not the tortilla chips that I would eat. We have these for like, the kids eat these sometimes and the friends, but I would eat organic chips with all the chia seeds and all the flax and everything built into them. And I would eat those every day with some salsa every single day. It was like my, oh my gosh, my vice. And I have not had any tortilla chips in 3 months. None. What else we got that I can be honest about? And I thought I was a pretty healthy guy, but I would have a bowl of these once in a while. Like, I would eat a bowl of these once in a while with, like, almond milk. I have not had almond milk in over 3 months. I have not had any of this kind of a thing in over 3 months. Again, you know, that's what's funny is we buy this stuff because the kids beg and beg and beg at the grocery store. Don't take your kids shopping. I'm telling you, it's a nightmare. But we buy these and then they just sit because the kids really don't eat them, which is good. What else? What I'm trying to tell you is I have gained absolute full 100% control over my dietary habits. I look at the foods that used to get me and haunt me. Coffee ice cream, I have not had coffee ice cream. Full transparency, I have not had coffee ice cream in probably 2.5 months. I have not had a Coke Zero in, and again, I'm being brutally honest because I want to be brutally honest. I have not had a Coke Zero in, see, there are those, I ought to just throw them away. They're there. And I haven't had that in a long, long time. I mean, it's probably been 6 weeks, I think, 6 weeks. Yeah, those are junk up there. What else? But anyway, my point being that, guys, I'm bulletproof. I mean, I am bulletproof. Like, I look at these foods and I just laugh. I have not eaten pizza. And everybody says, but I like my pizza. Don't tell me I can't have my pizza. But that's not what it's about. It's not about you not being able to have your pizza. It's not. Like, have your pizza. I don't care. I really don't. Like, do what you want to do. But for me personally, I am so passionate right this moment about feeling my very, very best all the time. So if you said to me, here, it's just like a little piece of pizza. And then here, have a piece of pizza. A piece of pizza won't hurt. It's a weekend. Have a cheat thing, you know? And I would probably approach that as, if I eat that, I'll enjoy it, but I'm going to pay a price for that. And it's hard to quantify the price you'll pay for such things. It's hard to measure that, but it's in the way you feel. It's in the way that you, like I've noticed with alcohol, if I was to have a shot of vodka versus having a shot of whiskey, which we only drink like once a week, like a couple drinks. But if I was to have a shot of vodka versus a shot of whiskey, I'll pay a price for the whiskey. There's a reason for that. You got to think about what's in it that kind of acts like that little tiny piece of paper that has such a tremendous effect. Okay? What is it in there? And I just say to myself, no, I won't drink it. I won't have it because I choose tomorrow to feel my most optimal. I choose tomorrow to wake up and feel motivated. I choose tomorrow to wake up and feel like going to work out, and I feel like getting a lot done. And I'm not going to pay a price for little fudging here and fudging there. And you say, oh, God, I don't want to live like that. That doesn't sound like fun. But I don't view food as entertainment anymore like a lot of people do. And I think that's part of the empowerment. My man, Adam. Hi, Adam. Who is this? Mine happened to be on day 6, and this was Shelly Johnson. Thank you, Shelly. Yeah, so back to focusing on that part. Guys, everybody's different. You're gonna have a healing crisis, most likely. There's a couple things that come into play. Healing crisis is a war inside the body trying to change its diet, the body trying to, adapt. It's like my friend Jesse Jamnick said, one of my closest partners, Jesse, he teaches that if you go off caffeine entirely, you'll have withdrawals and you'll get headaches. And this is your body. Your body's not saying, I want the caffeine because that's healthy. Your body just likes what it's used to. And so you've got to adapt and you've got to adjust. The healing crisis inside the body is actually a war. There's a full-blown war going on inside of you. And it's causing all kinds of stress, inflammatory response, and stirring things up, even detoxification. Toxins that are in the body, even if you fast, your body will go into a form of detoxification, just fasting, and it doesn't feel good. Like, it stirs things up. Imagine if you had this toxic waste pool, cesspool, and it's all clogged up, and it's just sitting there, and it's kind of just rancid and stagnant. And then imagine if you're able to break that open and things start moving, but things will move. Now imagine all those impurities in the body moving around. They're floating around your lymphatic system. They're moving around inside all the different parts, functions, and facets of the body. And we always say they like to say hello before they say goodbye. Before you eliminate them, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel how they make you feel. That's the unfortunate part about detoxification. Now, we also have that component of fat adaptation, and that's going to be different for everybody. Everybody's going to have a different experience when it comes to fat adaptation. Some people could realize that quickly, like their body switches. Some people might not even realize it, but because they eat a lot of animal fats without introducing carbohydrate to the body and glucose and such, that their body already is a little bit adept at converting and switching over back and forth to fats. But for me personally, it wasn't the case, and I was 7 days with pretty bad diarrhea. Now, I'm not talking about we'll call it loose stool. Diarrhea is when you go to the bathroom 4 to 6 times in an hour and you can't stop. That's full-blown diarrhea. If that happens to you, you need to take a break from the shred and give it a few days and get back on it, okay, and introduce it even more gradual, okay? But if it's just loose stool like it was for me, which is, 3, 4, 5 times a day, and it's loose, this is just a sign that your body's probably learning to convert. It's learning to adapt and switch over. And I don't know when that's going to be for you. I think the longest I've ever heard about that being is about 2 weeks on average. But most people, I think it happens within about, let's just say 5 to 7 days is when the body switches over. And some people don't even notice anything. Some people just from the first or second day, they're like, I feel incredible. I'm rocking. I love it. So it could be different for everybody. It's just things to consider. But if it happens on day 10 for you, that's what it is. And if it happens on day 14 for you, that's just what it is. But it's worth it. Get on our call tomorrow night. See the stories and the results that are coming in. And then you'll probably start to feel motivated and understand why it's worth it. Why it's worth sticking to it and keeping going. Now, you might be one of those people who says this is uncomfortable. Well, guys, you know what we have to look at? We have to look at this and say, you have gone how many years abusing the body? And we abuse the body with our diet and the way we live and the high stress and everything. We abuse this body, and you only get one body. So I want you to imagine that, you know, you have abused that body, toxified that body for 10 years, 20 years, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. You've toxified that body. I mean, come on. That body, this is common sense. It's no wonder that body's not working well for you. Would you take a tractor and just turn that sucker on and run it for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years without ever giving it a rest, without ever changing the oil and you know, doing annual service maintenance and so forth? You're going to have problems. Thank you, Jesse. Jesse's been teaching all this stuff, and Jesse does a great job teaching it. But we are not going to say come alive by day 5 anymore. That's my commitment. You know, because why? Because it doesn't matter when you come alive. What matters is that you come alive. And we hate to give people a false, you know, kind of one of those false expectation. We want to over-deliver. We don't want to over-promise and under-deliver, because that can do something to people's psyche, right? So guys, is it going to be worth it? It's going to be worth it. So worth it. Oh, so worth it. But you've got to pay the price now. You've got to be devoted and dedicated. And all the empowerment is going to come for you. Everything we're saying is going to come for you. It's going to come for you. If it doesn't come for you, I'm going to ask for a 2-week. I'm going to ask for 2 weeks. And you've got enough product for 2 weeks, because we give you an extra canister of Isolene Pro in your kit. So you got enough there for another week or 2 beyond the 11 days, depending on how you use it. And I'm going to ask for a 2-week marker, and give me 2 weeks. Can you do that? Give us 2 weeks. I'm not asking for 30 days. I'm asking for 2 weeks to realize that aha moment that we're talking about, that so many people are talking about. And then you'll know. Then it's fair. If not, then maybe this wasn't for you. And that's okay too. Because, again, is there a product on earth that's going to work for 100% of people? Maybe not. Probably not. That's going to work for 100% of people? Probably not. And that's okay. You know, and maybe you find something else that works for you. All right, you guys, thanks so much for your time. See you on the call tomorrow night. The call information is posted on my page. So grab that. Join us tomorrow night. Okay? Thanks, guys.